Okay, so now we're getting to the Hunter cards. I'm honestly just doing it this way just because I like the background. I know that I just easily click through these and just skip through everything, but I like the background. Good thematics. But Arcane Shot, so it's an arcane spell. There's probably going to be arcane support around it. So I'm trying to think of a spell. I'm trying to think of a pun, but I can't think of an arcane pun. But regardless, this card is just going to be good. If maybe this next card is good, because Lock and Load coming back is actually pretty big, and it's actually discounted too. Since it used to be 2 mana, it's now 1 mana. Every time you cast a spell this turn, add a random Hunter card to your hand. So this might invite some kind of like really weird, infinite loops, because now that the next card that I'm going to talk about is discounted and different, you might actually have some infinite loops going on, because you can discover, oh wait, no, I'm sorry, I thought it was a copy, so never mind. You can't do like tracking and a tracking and a tracking, which was what I was about to say, but you can still find like a bunch of like cheap cards, or then you find tracking randomly from this. Like, I feel like Hunter having these cheap 1 mana cards synergize very well with each other could be really good. So I think that it has potential. Also, Gadget. Maybe Hunter has a reason to play Gadget in the future. Maybe they have some that discounts, which would not be what I would hope would come out. Because if suddenly Hunter just becomes the new mage, then I would not want that to be the case. But Webspinner coming back, dude, this card is just good. 1-drop that gives you another 1-drop. They're actually doing this a lot with a lot of the other classes. Like, spoiler alert, Rogue has Swashbuckler, so that just seems good by itself. But Webspinner, good. It's going to see play in almost every single Hunter deck, I believe. In Wild, it's kind of interesting how this card doesn't see play in Wild, but that's just because Hunter isn't that good. But now that everything's toned down a little bit, if everything comes down to minion presence, this card is going to see play in a lot of decks that just want to have, you know, constant threats. So it's a 4 or 5 for that reason. Explosive Trap, it's a good card. It's kind of interesting how they're putting fire to this versus like all the Hunter spells being all one thing. That's kind of what I thought they were doing in the direction. That's kind of what I thought the direction they were going with these kind of spells, where every single class would have like its own type. But maybe like in the future, like we'll have fire damage be effective against like specific minions. So that's kind of cool. But aside from that, Explosive Trap, still a good card. Still a good Hunter secret. It's gonna be a 5. I don't think we have to talk about the secrets being good. Same comment on the Freezing Trap. It's a good card, but it's a frost mechanic. Maybe there's some kind of interaction like drawing specifically frost spells, which will just make this card even better. So it's a 5. It's also important to note that Eaglehorn Bow is not in Hunter anymore, so that rotating is very huge. So this card might actually not necessarily take its place, but if a card, if a Hunter deck has beasts in it, then this is just gonna see a lot of play. So because of that, I want to give this like a 3 or a 4 in Standard. In Wild, it's probably it's really hard to say how good Hunter's gonna be in Wild, because first off, I don't play the class that often. Also, it's not good right now because it has no solidified strategies. But who knows? Maybe Maybe Hunter will be on top because Blizzard is aware that Hunter's not really that good right now. Or at least, it's a glass cannon. It's either really good or really bad. Quick Shot coming back is going to encourage face Hunter strategies, or at least, you know, the possibilities of it. Now that Malygos is rotating, you don't have that cheese. This is also just pretty decent removal. 2 mana, deal 3. It's just historically been a good thing for classes to have. So this is just going to be like at least a 3 or a 4 in Standard, I believe, because you're just going to run it because you need direct damage every now and again, and now that you don't have Eaglehorn Poe, maybe 3 damage is kind of hard to come by. Regardless, this card's just pretty decent. In Wild, it's hard to judge Hunter. I'm just going to stick with that. Scavenging Hyena sticking around. This is, I would say if they didn't have this, it would just be wrong. This card doesn't see play now, but maybe if, I don't think they have Unleash the Hounds. So if they don't have Unleash the Hounds, then this card's kind of bad. But maybe if they can have sticky boards, I don't know. I want to say this is like a 2. Because Hunter just needs ways of being able to make this really, really big. It's not like Questing Adventurer for Rogue, where it's really easy for the class to do it consistently. It's really hard for them to have like beasts. So unless he gets support, I don't want to say this is good. Selective Breeder, though. I think this card is extremely interesting. This card is essentially, what's that 3-mana 2/2 that discovers a card in your deck? A Stitch Tracker. It's like Stitch Tracker, but with beasts, and if beasts are highly valuable in Hunter, this card is going to be nothing but a good inclusion. It's a 2-mana curve that maybe can find a Bearshark. Bearshark is in the classics, or is coming in the core set. Can you explain if I get dust on these cards if I already have those? I do not know that information, so I would say try reading some information. I think the coin Concede podcast had some information about that, and there might be something on the forums. Unfortunately, okay, Bulletmaster is saying that we don't, but I do not know 100% that information. But if Bulletmaster is correct, then don't dust your cards. But I think this card is going to be good. I want to give this a 4 in Standard. In Wild, I think this has the potential being good, but again, it's hard to judge Hunter. Snake Trap. This is just going to be a good card because, I mean, snakes always catch people off guard. Also, who knows? Synergies with Scavenging Hyena. Always pretty decent. I think this card's a 4. Actually, 4 is pretty high. I want to give this like a 3. But, like, secrets are always good in Standard because it catches people off guard. In Wild, it's hard to judge. I don't know. Like I said, I should probably just stop using that as a cop-out. I've said that 3 times now. Was Warrior already on the list? We're going down in alphabetical order. Wait, is it alphabetical order? Yeah, we're going down in alphabetical order, so we're on the 3rd class right now. Bearshark coming back, I think, is huge. This card didn't see too much play when it saw an insane amount of play when it first came out, but it had a lot of support with it, and like playing this on turn 3 was just like the nuts. You couldn't kill it, and yeah, Fiery War Axe is still 3 mana. But like this'll be a pretty decent card, just because I mean, against Warrior they still have things like Sword Eater, but like if decks don't have a lot of weapons, if this just slaps on the field first because you have initiative on turn 3, then I feel like it's just gonna, you know, steamroll from there. Play a taunt, maybe support it. It's also a beast, so you can find copies of it. This card I feel like is a 4 or a 5 because it's gonna see play in almost every single Hunter deck. Now that now that Hunter is going on a different strategy of not just swinging face a lot, minions are gonna matter. You will get the core set versions, but your old cards will not give extra dust. And next year, if any of the core cards get removed, you won't own them anymore. Okay, so yeah, if you want to own the cards after next year, then don't dust them. I guess that's the best thing the best advice I can give you. Rush makes this so much worse, actually. Well, I mean, yes, but the biggest thing is you can't target it with spells, and against things like Mage, that's really good. Like, this card requires you to play the Rush card, and if you don't have it, then it's really good. So I feel like this is just going to be a good card. Deadly Shot doesn't see play, not going to be good. I'm giving it a 1. But also, it doesn't have, like, the Hunter doesn't have a lot of removal, so maybe this will be good, but if wide boards are a thing, I don't think this is going to be that good. Dire Frenzy coming back is huge. There's going to be, for sure, some kind of beast that you can break with this card. So I want to go ahead and just give it a 4 to be safe. I am not a fan of Wild, thanks, man. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'll try to change your opinion with Anyfin Paladin later. It's always HUFFER. Dude, hold on a minute. This flavor text isn't okay because Animal Companion isn't a thing anymore. It's never HUFFER anymore. You never get HUFFER back, guys. I'm sorry. And that's probably the reason why they took away Animal Companion was because of charge. Imagine if they actually printed HUFFER with Rush instead. But I enjoy watching you. Aw, thanks, man. I really do appreciate that. I hope you guys are enjoying this because I usually don't do card reviews like this, but I thought it would be pretty good because this is pretty big. This is pretty big news. All right, Savannah Highmane in the jungle, the mighty jungle. The lion slowly consumes by the lion gets consumed by hyenas. Sorry, I can't read right now. But this is gonna be good if Hunter can have, you know, actual beasts be a thing. Maybe finding multiple copies of this with the Selective Breeder could be pretty decent. But it's a good value card. I always find it pretty interesting that this never worked with Broom. but I don't know. Broom with this would be very interesting. But, like, I don't know. Maybe you give this the Dire Frenzy, but that's a very late game strategy. If you're doing that, you're probably already winning. Mid-range Hunter just needs to get some support if it's going to be good. And if it can go into, like, the mid stages of the game, it will see play. But it just doesn't see play now. Because Highlander Hunter just completely overshadows anything the class can do currently. And this just isn't good for Highlander Hunter because it doesn't go face. But now that Hunter isn't going face a lot nowadays, because with the changes, you know, they don't have weapons, they don't have a lot of things that just, like, immediately repeat. Because, like, Stormhammer is rotating, I believe. So that's not going to be a thing anymore. But regardless, they're going, and, like, Hearthstone is going in a very minion-based strategy. I'm going to say this a lot. So I really believe that this is going to be good, because if minion strategies are good for Beast Hunter in particular, or a mid-range Hunter, then this might see play. So I'm giving it a 4 for that reason. King Krush, the mighty Krush. If they would have gotten rid of this, people would have probably stopped playing Hearthstone. It's a 5 because it's King Krush. The fact that it's still in this means it can be pulled randomly. Do I like metal songs? Yes. I actually should probably have my headphones on to make sure that the song is not too unbearable. But regardless, King Krush, good card. You always play King Krush.